Hi guys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Saturday today, start of the weekend. So just out walking the dogs again today. It's about 9:30 in the morning, so I thought I'd walk the dogs before I go back and try and sort my garden out. It's a bit of a mess. I'll just jump straight into it today. I was watching a friend's video yesterday. A really good guy called Jason, who's got a new channel called You Do You. I'll pop the I'll stick it on the description to this video so you can go and check out his videos. They're pretty good. He's got a good message. He was talking in his latest video about sort of drug addiction, that sort of thing, with regards to smoking cannabis, or marijuana, whatever you want to call it. I think he might have had a bit of an issue with alcohol as well, like most people have. I'll probably better say a little disclaimer at the beginning of this video. Everything I'm going to say is true. There's no bullshit to it. It's all my own experience in life. I don't in any way condone the use or the taking of recreational drugs, but it is what it is. A lot of people have done them. Some people have had good experiences, and some people have had some pretty bad experiences. Probably best is just to go back and start at the beginning. So I think I first got introduced to recreational drugs. It's probably when I was about 14. That would have been the first time that I'd ever smoked anything. I'd smoked a few cigarettes before that, probably from like the age of like 12 or something, that sort of thing. So I was 14. My older brother, who was about 17 at the time, he had his 17th birthday at our house where we live with our parents in England. It was in the middle of July, so the weather was really good, and there was me, my brother, and about 20 of his mates, and we're just having a classic sort of party in the garden, that sort of thing. Waited for mum and dad to go to bed so that the older kids could get their little bags of hashish out, start smoking that. And I was obviously a very curious 14-year-old. I was around that, and I thought, oh, that looks pretty good. I'd probably had like a couple of little bottles of beer or something, so I was bang up for anything. And it started with like a few joints getting passed around. This was just like sort of fairly low grade hashish. I mean, we're talking back in early 90s, I'd say. And back in those days in England, it was completely different to now. Weed wasn't really that prevalent back then. It was all hashish where we lived. Fairly average sort of hashish when you look back on it now. Squidgy black, soap bar, that sort of stuff. But anyway, it got you high, and it was pretty cheap. So we were at this party. Joints were getting passed around, and then one kid, he had like a little pipe on him, a little hash smoking pipe. So he started loading that one up, and I was just sat next to him, and he sort of said, do you want to hit on this pipe? And I was just like, yeah, I've never done it before. You'll have to sort of show me how to do it, type thing. So I had a few puffs on this pipe, and that was a lot more intense than smoking the joint. And I got absolutely stoned off my nuts, sort of thing. Wasn't a bad experience. It was a completely positive experience. I enjoyed the effect of it, all that sort of stuff. But felt pretty sleepy after that. So I sort of said goodnight to everyone, and then went into the house to go up to my bedroom, type thing. And it was only when I sort of got into the house that it really sort of kicked in, and I was just like, fucking hell, I'm really wasted, sort of thing. Took me about half an hour to figure out how to sort of get upstairs, type thing. Looking back at it now, it's pretty funny. So yeah, I mean that was my first experience, you know, doing any sort of drugs type thing. So yeah, I mean, I sort of going up to from there to about 16, just smoking sort of occasionally with friends, that sort of stuff. And then when I was 17, passed my driving test, I could go a little bit further afield and meet up with my mates in town, that sort of stuff, because when I was living then with my parents, we were living in the middle of nowhere, about 20 minutes from the nearest town, so if you wanted to do anything, you had to drive. So yeah, it's when I started going into town when I was 17, got into the sort of nightclubbing scene, that sort of stuff. Just about all of my mates then smoked cannabis or whatever, and I think we were at a club. One Friday or Saturday evening. There was about 5 or 6 of us in there, and one of my mates, after about half an hour of us being in there, comes up to me on the dance floor, and he's like, "Hey, check this out." Reaches into his pocket, pulls out a little baggie with some pills in it, and I was like, "Oh, what's all that about?" And he goes, "It's ecstasy." And I was like, "Okay, not really sure what that does." And he's like, "Well, you know, just take a half of one and you'll see," sort of thing. So I thought, yeah, I'll do that, be on the safe side. You know, don't want to overdose or anything. You know, I didn't know anything about it at that sort of point, but yeah, did a half a pill. Had a really good time. I thought, fucking hell, this is brilliant. So yeah, about an hour later, I went up and asked him for the other half. So yeah, that was my first experience doing that sort of thing as well. So yeah, going from then, sort of 17, up until about sort of 20, 21, you know, I was doing full-time jobs, you know, smoking a few joints in the evening, and then pretty much it sort of got to pretty much every weekend we'd go into town, go clubbing, that sort of stuff. Back in those days, the music was pretty good, the nightclubs were good. You know, pretty safe sort of thing to do. Unlike today, it's not the same anymore. So yeah, we had a good laugh doing that. And then sort of around about the same time, a couple of my mates came round one evening, and you know, the usual, smoking joints, playing computer games, that sort of stuff. And one dude turned up, and he had a massive grin on his face, and we were like, "Oh, what's going on with you then?" And he goes, "Oh, check this out." So same again, you know, reaches into his pocket, pulls out a little bag of white powder. So we're all like, "Well, what's that? What's that?" And he goes, "Oh, it's cocaine." So yeah, that was first introduction to that sort of thing. So yeah, had a line of that. Same again. I thought, this is brilliant. Absolutely loved it. So yeah, so you know, after that, pretty much every weekend, you know, we'd end up getting a couple of pills each, and we'd all sort of club together, chip in and buy a bag of that special white powder. So yeah, that was up until about the age of 21. You know, I wasn't addicted to any of this sort of stuff, but I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the sort of, you know, the effect of it. Enjoyed the social side of it, you know, going out with your mates, that sort of stuff, having a good time, listening to great music, good top quality DJs that were around at the time back then. So yeah, it was all good. And then at the age of 21, my older brother and I decided to move to France. So for the sort of the 4 years that we were down in the south of France, that pretty much put a stop to all of this recreational activity that we were getting up to in England, which wasn't a bad thing. But yeah, that all sort of came to a head because in France back then there wasn't the same readily availability of all of these drugs, you know. there was a bit of hash, a bit of weed down there, but there wasn't any ecstasy or cocaine to be found. So it's not like we were addicted to it, so we didn't miss it at all. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a problem. I still smoked a bit of hash down there or whatever, but no big deal. Yeah, so 4 years down in South France, came back up to England for a sort of like a year and a half, working at music festivals, and that's when the sort of recreational drug taking really kicked in. The music festival scene in England is very drug orientated. A lot of people are at it. So yeah, got into it a bit more then. Also, there's a mate of mine, well, there's a few mates of mine back then that used to go on holiday to India pretty much every year. They were doing this every year. And they were coming back from India with vast quantities of ketamine. Now, I'm not sure if you know anything about ketamine. It's a tranquilizer. Got a lot of bad press when it first came on the scene, because people were taking ketamine that was sort of mainly used in the veterinary sort of circles for tranquilizing horses, which isn't good because it's way too strong. I mean, there's lots of different sort of degrees of ketamine based on the type of animal that you want to sedate. So yeah, anyway, my mates were going over to India, and in India, I'm not sure if it's the same now, they might have clamped down on it, but you used to be able to go into a pharmacy in India and you could buy ketamine over the counter in the pharmacy. And my mates were going over there and they were buying ketamine that was used to anaesthetize babies and children. So, it's nowhere near as strong as the horse tranquilizer or whatever. A bit more manageable. So yeah, they were getting like 50 to 100 grams of that from the pharmacy, and if you tip it into a litre of water, it sort of becomes invisible and you can't see it. So you could transport it back to the UK or whatever, and then it's just a question of evaporating the water off it, and then you're left with the product at the end. Fairly simple process. So yeah, I got quite into that as well. Got a little bit too into that. Had a bit of a love affair with that. Ended up sort of selling it as well. Easy money. It's hard to say no to. So yeah, I mean that wasn't a particularly good thing to get into. Looking back on that, if you do your research on it, it can have pretty bad effects on your kidneys and stuff like that. So yeah, I decided to knock that on the head after a while. I thought, well, this is only going to go one way. So yeah, I mean, I never had a bad experience on it, but health-wise, it's not the best thing to do. Don't recommend it at all. What else is there? I mean, yeah, did some mushrooms as well. This is when I was down in France. A friend of mine ended up with a bag of South American mushrooms, Ecuadorian psilocybin mushrooms. First time ever doing mushrooms. I was about 22, 23 or something. That pretty much blew me away. I was sort of amazed at what that sort of, the effect of that, the visuals, that sort of thing. It's pretty intense, I must admit. But yeah, never had a problem with that either. It's not the sort of thing you can get addicted to. I mean, when you're tripping on that sort of stuff, you're tripping for about 6-7 hours, like pretty hard. And then there's no real side effects to it. You just feel a little bit tired the next day, probably because you've been staying up, quite late, sort of thing. But apart from a bit of tiredness, I can't really see there's any side effect to it. But it's not the sort of thing that you want to do all the time, like coke or something. So you can't really get addicted to that sort of stuff, psychedelics. So yeah, I mean, came back to messed about in England for a year and a half, doing the music festival thing. as I said, got way too into the ketamine and the coke at the same time. And it was the coke that was the real sort of turning point for me. I got far too into that, selling lots of it. I had such a readily available supply and wasn't paying a hell of a lot of money for it, so I was making a lot of money off it, which is good and bad. But when you're sort of waking up in the morning and going down the shop for a pint of milk and there's an unmarked police car outside your house with like a couple of cops asleep in it at 7 in the morning, then you're sort of thinking, oh shit, it's all getting a bit much. And yeah, I started getting into a bit of trouble as well, going into debt with that. I've said that before in a previous video, so yeah, check out the previous video. I think it's on debt struggles probably. So yeah, I decided to sort of bin all that and come back to France, sort my life out type thing. So yeah, been back in France now for, I don't know, 14, 15 years, that sort of thing, from messing around in England for a year and a half. Yeah, didn't take any sort of recreational drugs in France, apart from it's probably about maybe about 10 years ago, just before my son was born, I discovered the dark web on the internet, and all of the drug markets that were on there. I mean, a lot of them have been shut down now. There was things like Silk Road, stuff like that, which I thought was amazing. I thought, fucking hell, this is brilliant. I mean, it literally was like going onto Amazon, but for everything illegal. I was absolutely blown away by the amount of stuff that was on there. So yeah, I sort of messed around with that just to sort of see what it was like. You're paying in Bitcoin, all that sort of stuff, and I was thinking, oh, is this real or is it bullshit? So I thought I'd test it out. So went on there, bought a few bits and bobs, bought a couple of grams of cocaine a few times. Did that. I was amazed by the quality of the stuff that was on there. It was some of the best that I've ever seen in my life. I was expecting it to all just be like people just selling rubbish, but it wasn't. Everybody on there was just selling like pretty much 100% pure gear type thing. So I was like, I thought that's pretty full on. What else did I get off the dark web? Bought a few bits and bobs of weed as well. It's like same again, amazing quality, really good. I bought some DMT as well once. I'd done a bit of research on it, and I thought, wow, to have an opinion on these things, you need to have done it, sort of thing. So I think I bought like a half gram of DMT, and it was like a sort of yellow sort of powder type thing. And the guy messaged me and he said, just put a little tiny bit into a pipe or something and just smoke it, and you'll sort of see what happens. So yeah, I did that, and that was probably one of the most full-on things I've ever done. I mean, that really was intense. It's not like mushrooms or acid. It's different. It's really hard to explain the effects of it. It's like, I don't know. It's almost like you feel like you're sort of hurtling through space at 1,000 miles an hour. It's weird. It doesn't last very long. It's a very short-lived hit. Probably only about sort of maybe 5-10 minutes max. That's the sort of the length of the kind of trip that you'll get out of it. And then when it sort of wears off, I didn't notice any side effect whatsoever. So yeah, I thought, oh, this is probably a little bit too good. It's very expensive as well, so I thought, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. I've done that. I've got an opinion on it, but no, it's not the sort of thing I want to get into doing regularly. So I only did that once. What else did I get off the dark web? Found a guy in Spain that worked on a like a poppy plantation down there. I mean, like big pharma companies like I don't know, Pfizer or shit like that. They grow poppies. You know, they can grow it legally for medication and stuff like that. So down in Spain, there's, you know, pretty top secret locations where they've got vast fields of, you know, opium poppies. And this guy worked in one of those places, and he was pinching a bit of the product and selling it on the dark web. So yeah, I bought like a little bit of that off him to try that. Smoked it. Pretty much 2 minutes later, fell asleep on my sofa. Woke up about 4 or 5 hours later, feeling pretty shit. So I thought, this isn't much fun. So yeah, didn't ever do that again. It's probably like why now, if I ever get prescribed any sort of painkiller medication that's based on opium, it makes me feel absolute shit. I don't know about you, but I think looking back at it now, I might even be allergic to that kind of medication or drug, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, never got into that. Never smoked crack. Never smoked meth or anything like that. Just fucking. When you look at the state of what that does to people, that put me right off straight away. So I never got into that kind of shit. I was just into the, you know, the party scene, that side of the drug world. So yeah, I mean, what's this video about? Is it like a warning? Is it like a, I mean, like I said before, I'm not condoning the use of any of these things. I don't do any of them now. You know, I'm in the process of quitting alcohol and smoking tobacco. You know, that's the main deal at the moment. I mean, to be honest with you, I think those two drugs are probably the most dangerous, and they're the legal ones. So you know, you can make your own mind up about that. But yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there with the alcohol and the fags. I haven't 100% quit them both. With the alcohol, I slip up now and again. I had a few beers watching the Champions League semi-final the other day. Still smoking a few cigarettes a day, but cut right down. So you know, I'm taking positives out of this. There's always positives to take out of things. But yeah, when you're dealing with addiction, it's never easy. It's never easy to give up these things. But from my experience, I find that sort of recreational drugs, like I've mentioned before, probably barring cocaine, because that is highly addictive. That is really, really addictive. But stuff like, you know, ecstasy, you know, ketamine, that sort of thing, psychedelics, I don't really find them addictive at all. You might be different, but from my own personal take on it, you know, I can sort of take it or leave it. I'm 43 now, so I've done all that. Been there, done it. Got the t-shirt, you know, to a fairly serious degree. So yeah, just doesn't interest me anymore. I've got absolutely no wish to do any of that. I much more appreciate having the full capacity of my mind. It's a lot more valuable than just having a good time. So yeah, I'll try and wrap this one up here. Leave a little comment. Let me know what sort of experiences you've had messing about with these sort of things, addiction, that kind of stuff. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. It's a pretty broad topic, and it's the whole drug thing. It's not the sort of thing that's going to go. It's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. The war on drugs failed completely. I think, you know, if you do a bit of research now, there's more and more drugs are being flooded into America and Europe and other places than ever before. So yeah, I think the younger generations are going to be the ones that are going to have a harder time trying to navigate their way through it, just because there's going to be more of it put in front of them, sort of thing. So yeah, drop a little comment, like, subscribe, share the video if it resonates with you, and we'll catch up in the next video. Okay, take care, bye bye.